Welcome to the Mortgage Broker Podcast, tailor-made for Canadian mortgage industry professionals. Proudly presented by A Better Way Mortgage Group, this podcast is your trusted source for insider insights, market updates, and strategies to elevate your career in the ever-evolving world of mortgage brokering. Whether you're a seasoned broker with A Better Way Mortgage Group or an industry enthusiast looking to stay ahead, our episodes are designed to empower you with the knowledge and tools you need to excel in the Canadian mortgage space.
We are one of, if not the only lender in Canada that does our own in-house valuation. So we have a team of professional appraisers that will do the valuations. And today that pays off in many ways. It creates a much more effortless experience. Like we can fund literally today because of that. We take a lot of burden and pressure off the client and the broker by doing that. We save the client and broker costs by doing that. But that was a necessity because requesting an appraisal on a house that is at a state, and then you say, okay, we're going to add, let's say, $60,000 to this through renovating the bathroom, kitchen, floors, drywall, and now you tell me what it's worth as complete. Today, still, evaluators, they don't see a lot of that business, and it takes them, triple the amount of time of a normal and triple the amount of cost. So now you're prohibiting our ability to serve the client. Features like that came about with Everett's passion to serve the client better and his passion to understand what he's doing as deep as possible.
We talked about that briefly off camera, and that is a huge differentiator, and it's clearly how you provide, a quicker, speedy solution. But I would also imagine for your investors, that's a pretty strong piece as well, to know that you guys know these properties so intimately.
Yeah, we absolutely treat it as a huge form of risk management. So a huge part of our success in the business is managing risk, right? Like our sustainability and our ability to continue to do this work is predicated on our ability to manage risk. And by doing the values in-house, we feel that we can do it at a level that is better than relying on third-party values. Now, absolutely, it can be perceived as a conflict, right? Theoretically, it could go the other way where we're taking on more risk. We do have rigor in our system to backtest our values through automated appraisals, and then it pulls out ones that are more than 10% off, either too conservative or too aggressive, because we need to be at market value with the client and to manage risk. So we do have that. And then what's great is we have a bank facility where the banks lend us a significant portion of our capital, which allows us to provide better returns to our investors. But they also are like, whoa, this is really weird, really unique. We need to wrap our heads around this. So they have a system to audit that. And from an operational and shareholder and employee standpoint, I love it because it's not just us validating this.
Yeah.
It's banking institutions validating this.
The behind the scenes operations when it comes to Calvert Home Mortgage. And let's start with team structure and workflow. What does a typical day look like for underwriters and your credit team at Calvert?
Because of our short-term lending nature, we see a ton of transactions. By a ton, meaning outsized transactions versus our size. So while we'll lend $550 million this year, we'll also get paid out probably $500 million this year, right? So we see a lot of opportunities coming in and out. Private lending naturally will have a lower approval ratio. So today we're approving about 25% of the loans we see. And from an efficiency standpoint, private lending, the success of it is in the questions, how do we make the deal work? So we want to make sure that we're engaging the broker, because a lot of times the broker will think this is the solution, but as you get into questions, you're like, it could be this solution, or maybe it's a no here, but a yes over here.
Yeah.
So getting efficient from both a business development standpoint and having that experience flow effortlessly into the underwriter so that we are doing our best to unearth the solution. And if there is no solution with us, we tell them no and why. And then we try to always educate, whether it be our content, whether it be our giveaway on the Flip Analyzer. But even at the underwriting desk, no, here's why, and here's who we think you should go to. Because we believe that give is going to result in our ideal outcome, which is the next opportunity coming back to us.
Absolutely.
So that's what kind of the workflow looks like as a whole. But then you have an underwriter who will make those credit decisions. You'll have an underwriter success associate who does the docs, gets them uploaded. We'll do a high-level review of credit income so that the underwriter could focus on their best skills, which is the solutions, rather than the minutia in that relatively data-based work that needs to be done. And then that'll flow ideally at greater than the speed of business. A huge piece of what we see as service is exceed the client's expectations on speed. And speed could just mean availability. Like it can mean like if you got a top broker texting you at 7, text back.
Yeah.
Pick up the call.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, yeah, got it here. Here's what I'm going to do tomorrow morning. Right? So speed, service, and then we talked about product. So from a workflow, that's kind of high level, what it looks like from the broker's experience. And then we talked about doing our own valuations. Unique allows us to work at the speed of business.
Yeah.
And then another unique thing that the broker should know that impacts them is that in Alberta, we have our own in-house legal. So we'll instruct the lawyer just like your banks will, and the client will just work with their lawyer, and then they'll fulfill our document package and trust conditions and report back to us. So that again really helps with speed. Like as soon as you involve a borrower's lawyer and a lender's lawyer,
It slows way.
you're slowing stuff down, and also you're adding costs. And to us, you're adding unnecessary costs for the risk because again, we do thousands of these transactions. We title insure. We've never had an issue because docs weren't registered correctly. Like that is a low risk thing that we try to optimize for. So we're continuously looking, how do we make the experience better for the client?
It's really rare. It doesn't sound like you guys outsource anything in the process.
We don't.
Very cool.
Now, that also means that we're creating inefficiencies.
Yeah.
So we suspect that as time goes on and as AI improves itself, probably a lot of the easy valuations, like if you're buying a single family house and not improving it in an urban center where there's lots of transactions and you want 70% from us because they're a new Canadian, they don't have sufficient income and credit, but you're going to exit them, and we can aggregate that data and say, yeah, this is a 99% chance they're going to exit. That valuation should be done by the machine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Eventually.
It's moving so quick. So I like hearing that.
So how do we optimize for that? How do we, even our legal process right now is very doc heavy, but again, where the world's going, we can optimize for that.
You mentioned like just your decision-making process and, you know, the fact that, hey, broker client might have this solution and you're going with a different solution overall. How does the team handle, let's say, an escalation or some sort of a challenge in a deal? Like maybe the underwriter is making a decision to say, hey, this isn't a fit, like, and a broker says, can we escalate this? Like, does that happen and what does that look like?
It doesn't happen often. And the reason for that is we empower the underwriter to escalate at their desk. And the way we do that is we have a lending standard that says, here's what strike zone is. And then that lending standard allows for exceptions. So depending on what level you're at, you can have exceptions. Typically, they can make those exceptions and note them at their desk. If not, they have a pathway to move up to the underwriter manager who has more exceptions. If not, they have a really clear and easy pathway to move it up to our chief operating officer who oversees all the underwriters. If not, chief operating officer has the ability to take it right to our chief risk officer's desk in real time.
Wow.
So it makes the underwriter work with the broker and think, how passionate am I for this deal to move it up?
Yeah.
And from a cultural perspective, because 8 years ago, me and Dale were underwriting. We were business development.
Wow.
We just made decisions together in real time. Dale being the chief risk officer. So we have that deep understanding of all that pieces of the business. And our mentality is again, that solutions-based mentality. So if we're not incentivizing and driving our people to be able to create the solution, then we're not going to hit our growth targets, our sustainability targets, our cultural targets. So it is a balance for sure. And especially when not a lot of underwriters are enabled to push like ours are. So we reward the hardest deals to get done. We talk about them every week.
Yeah.
Because that builds that culture of, yes, we manage risk, but we're also here to use a make sense approach. And sometimes adding a quarter section of farmland out in Timbuktu strengthens the deal significantly. It's weird. We don't want to do that business from a lending on that farmland in isolation, but we absolutely want to do that business when you can mitigate risk.
Thank you for tuning in. If you found value in this show, please subscribe to our channel on your preferred platform. We're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Your support is incredibly appreciated. We also welcome your reviews and feedback, which are crucial in helping us deliver outstanding educational content. Feel free to share your thoughts. A 5-star review would be fantastic if you think we earned it. Lastly, a vital announcement about Backpack Buddies, our chosen charity for 2025. This remarkable organization addresses a hidden hunger issue many are unaware of in British Columbia. While school districts provide meals during school hours, numerous children face food scarcity at home, particularly during the weekends. Backpack Buddies steps in to support these vulnerable children, ensuring they have easy-to-prepare, familiar food for weekends. This is achieved through collaborations with schools and an extensive distribution network. Your contribution can make a significant difference. With just $20, you can give a child in need a food bag from Backpack Buddies filled with enough meals and snacks to sustain them over the weekend and more. Once again, thank you for listening and see you on the next one.